Well, the struggle is real. And you know what? I should actually think about my words before I just say things, because I said, you probably don't remember, but I said some weeks ago, some months ago, yeah, we're going to be like, going through these power purges, for the rest of the year, and then it's all going to be great and amazing. And I kind of knew that, that was what was going to be happening, but I did not quite anticipate the velocity and the full force of what we meant by starburst. Because okay, so I'm laughing now because this is like funny, not funny. I feel absolutely horrific. I have got a splitting headache. I feel like somebody's got an axe in my head. And the last 3 days, this is day 4 now, the last 3 days, I've really literally not been able to get out of bed because I have just been sleeping and sleeping, eating and eating. I mean, I know that we go through these purges and because of when light comes in, on the planet and everything like that, and we all get a little bit headachy and we have to rest a little bit. This is on another level. This is on another level, and I'm still not out of it. So this is why I wanted to share this video. I said I have to share this video now because I'm pretty sure that everybody else, or many of us, is actually feeling the same way. So I want to dive straight into the whys, the hows, where are we going with all this, So basically on the 28th, so let's start with dates, the 28th of October, we felt a big influx of energy coming in, another starburst as I call it, because there were huge solar flares around the sun, and of course that affects us massively. And of course the scientists, that show you all the graphs and all that, once again they were off the charts, and this was really huge. I actually even saw a picture where they actually showed the scientific representation of it, and they showed the Earth and they showed it in light, and there was just a huge explosion hitting the Earth. It was massive, and it's been really, really intense. So of course, as we know, when those light bursts come in, we have to bring that into our systems, into our beings, and some of us are a bit more sensitive than others. Those that are sleeping in a slumber wouldn't have noticed a thing. No, it was just another day. It's just another day, you know what I mean? But for our sensitive types, those of us that work with energy and everything like that, not so much. So it's 28th of October. So we then kind of moved in. It's actually funny because my geyser actually exploded with water everywhere. And then the pool pump broke, and then there was water issues. So water's is emotions. So I was like, oh my God, this all pretty much happened on the same day. So I was like, heads up, this is happening in my house. This is some craziness. And then basically Friday kind of ramped up, and I started to feel very sort of like dark energy. I'm talking about I don't know, maybe it was because we were coming up to Halloween. I do not know. But what I will tell you is this whole purge, this whole thing is all about going into your dark side. And I'm going to explain that in detail now. So of course, big energies, Marie's geyser exploding, moving into Saturday, kind of built up a little bit more. And then Sunday, of course, was Halloween. Now, Halloween is when the veil is really, really, really thin to the other side, okay? So, I actually did a bit of research on here because everybody says Halloween, it's not all dark. It's basically a celebration of the saints. That's what it was, but it's the ghosts of the dead. When the ghosts, I actually wrote the words down that were on Google because I thought it was quite interesting. The goats of the dead, the goats? The goats as well. They're also around. The ghosts of the dead return. And it's not just the ghosts, it's your own ghosts of the dead return. And that's what I feel has happened. We've kind of got this influx of darkness coming up to the surface, and we all freak out and think it's happening to us. And there's and we're talking demons and stuff like that. We're not. We're talking about your own darkness, your own ghosts revisiting, and you've got to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the energy of Halloween. And then of course, jump forward a couple of days. Yesterday, being the 2nd of November, was the Day of the Dead. And that is where, they kind of go and clear off the graves, and they tidy, and they really respect the ones that have passed over, and they respect the ancestors and everything like that. But the Day of the Dead is a very, very powerful time of year as well. So all of this is about death, behind the veil, darknesses, mystery behind, the darkness, that's kind of you need to look at now, hidden stuff, So now Anubis has been with me ever such a lot in the last 6 months or so. I've always been connected to Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, more death. he's been in my space big time, and I've actually gone through a huge initiation with him, and he's here. And I felt him very, very close of these last few days, and I feel like he's been taking me to a place for me to understand myself. And this might resonate. This might resonate with what I'm going to share with you, because we talk about the light and we talk about the spiritual stuff and the energetic stuff, and then we kind of work it all the way back into your physical life so you can understand it better, because effectively that's where we are, in the physical, in the here and now. So Anubis dictating I'm reading off my notepad, dictating the fate of the souls. That was one of his jobs. Okay, so basically when you passed on, you would go and Anubis would take you, and he would take you to the weighing of the heart, where you would have Ma'at's feather, who is basically the feather of truth, and they would weigh the heart. And if the heart was heavier than the feather, then basically what would happen is you would go to you'd go down to the underworld, because that's not a good thing, because it's too heavy. But if the heart was light, like it went that way, and the feather was down here, then you're good to go, so it's like then you go to the afterlife. So it really was kind of like a judgment day of just like, what have you done? Have you made choices from the light? Have you made did you do good things in your life? Were you high vibration, or were you a little bit needs work? So that's the thing. So it's kind of like a bit of a judgment day in this whole pocket of energy. These solar storms have come in and kind of purged all this darkness up, and many of us have had to kind of address and look at and kind of take ownership of our dark sides, right? Because we all have one. Because this is the thing that I'm always going on about dark. We don't want to be with that. It's like, oh, no. I'm just light. Well, that's impossible, because you can't be with one without the other. You can't be divine masculine only. You got to have divine feminine. You know what I mean? You can't be yin. You got to have yin and yang. You know what I mean? It's like there's always a polar opposite, and those need to be balanced. So if in the darknesses there are places of you that kind of needs a little bit more work, where you need to expand into and be okay with, so you can sit in the dark. I mean, it's a bit like, do you remember when you were a kid and your brother or sister or your friend would say, and your mom and dad had gone out, and it's like nighttime, and they're like, right, want to run up to the toilet, and you're like, oh my God, and you run up the stairs because there's no lights, and you just quickly go to the toilet, and you run back down, and you think something's behind you, and it's just like, oh my God, get me out of here. The difference is actually going to the top of the stairs in the complete darkness, no fear, and just sitting and just being not fearful. And just being in the dark, though, no heebie-jeebies, that's the difference. That's where we got to get to, we got to be at peace in our darkness, right? And only when that happens, when that can happen, can the balance happen. And then when the balance happens, the union comes in, because the balance comes from the light and the dark, right? And then when this balances, then you sit in the middle here, and everything is peaceful. There's not extreme anything. It's just peaceful neutrality. And that is where the sweet spot, that's where your multidimensional self is, to be able to connect to all that there is. So this is why this veil is thinned so much that me personally, I've been feeling a lot of darkness coming in, and it's freaked me out a little bit. So that's like basically called me to sit in that darkness and be okay with it and go, right, what's going on here? And I haven't wanted to. It's been really intense, actually. But Anubis is the one that takes you through the dark shadows. He's the one that has the can see really, really, really clearly, and has a very, very keen smell as well, because he's a dog, he's a jackal, he's jackal head and human body. So yeah, he's been very, very much with me, and I feel that this is where we're at. And the closer we get to 11/11 and the end of the year, these starbursts are just getting more and more intense, and it's really digging up the depths. Okay, we're really, really, we say, oh God, we're really at the depths in this one, and then something else happens, and then, oh, we're really at the depths of this one. But we all go and go and go and go until you can't go anymore, until you come back and you rest here. And then there's going to be the tipping of the scales, in a good way. No weighing of the heart or the feather, just the tipping of the scales from suffering to being in peace and joy and love, so that's kind of like where we're going. So the energy at the moment, like, I feel very, very unwell today, still, and I've never felt so much pain in my body as well. And when you feel a lot of pain in your body and you're headachy and everything like that, it's indicative of how much you're purging, and also indicative of how much light is coming in to the planet and into you. So, it's the same thing as usual, that when that is happening, rest. You certainly can't be in creation mode, because that's not where you're at. You're in a different place doing different work for different reasons. So don't try and push on through and be creative. I mean, I've been 4 days off my creation work because I haven't been able to apply myself in that arena. I just can't. And if I did, it would be inauthentic. So I have to just really stay true to myself and go and sit at the top of the stairs in the dark without getting the heebie-jeebies and being okay with it. You know what I mean? So this is what's going on. So it's not a coincidence that all of this kind of like energy has come in specifically to do with the dark stuff. It's not a coincidence that it's come in just before Halloween. And then we went through Halloween. Halloween was one of the most powerful Halloweens I've ever felt. I don't usually feel it like that, but this time I did. And then we moved into the Day of the Dead, which was yesterday. And all of this is going on. So it's actually a big gift. It's got a big bow around it, you know, if you choose to go there. But remember, like I always say, welcoming and resisting, two opposing things, right? Welcoming is going to allow the energy to come in and like kind of like just flitter out the top of your energy field. So you allow those repressed emotions or those things that you just don't want to look at, allow it to come in and go. But then resisting is going, oh, I don't want to do it. I'm going to busy myself. Why is this happening to me? Oh, freaking out. Do you know what I mean? That's resisting. So you're just keeping it stuffed down. So like I say, I'll go back to the stairs again. Are you going to run up and down stairs and think, oh my God, terrified, don't want to be here, up and down to the toilet, straight out like a rat down a drain pipe? Or are you going to run upstairs and just be like, well, I'm just going to stand here in the dark because I am. What's the worst that can happen? I might go through a spiritual death. Yay, that's what we all want to do. That's the life goal, to die before you die. So big tick. Yeah, that's what we want. And that's effectively what we're doing. So that's a great way to round this video off, by basically saying it is all about death. We're needing to die. And if you are kind of like feeling this energy, let it die, man, because that's what's going on. You don't need to know the reasons, the wheres, the whys, whatever. Just let it fall away. And if you are in the same energy as I am, which has been really intense, there is a panic that comes in where you think, oh my God, I'm never going to be all right. What's going on with me? Start freaking out. But again, that's resistance. You will always be fine because you are awareness. You are consciousness. You are light. You are such a powerful energy and force. That's the truth of it. That's what this great reveal is all about. And all of this darkness and energy coming up is exactly what we're doing here. We're getting rid of that so we can reveal what was always there, which is this powerful, powerful light being incarnate, which is exactly what you are, you know? So I just wanted to share this little energy transmission with you. And yeah, I mean, if you're feeling it, like pop it in the comment box. Somebody, you know, sharing is caring, man. And like some people just need to know that they're not on their own, which is why I do these videos. You know what I mean? And you know what? If you're rocking it like a boss, well, yay. Thank you, because you're holding it down for us. So thank you so much. So yeah, I mean, like it's all good really. So just let yourself just go where you need to go, and no resistance, just love. And this too shall pass. It better do, because my head is absolutely banging. So anyway, love and light, y'all. Love and light. More light than anything, actually, in this very moment. Peace.